Stone. This hard, solid substance is found all over the world, and while it can be worn down by water, wind, and humans, it takes a very long time for most stones to change from their natural state. What makes stones interesting in human history is that it is the oldest material of the natural world with which we can trace a rich, complex, and increasingly enigmatic relationship. A relationship that has evolved over many millions of years, but has declined in a fraction of that time. Consider the stones that form Pulimele, a truncated pyramid lying inland from the village of Wailoa Palauli on the island of Savai in Samoa. With a base of 65 meters by 60 meters and a maximum height of 12 meters, we know that it is one of the largest stone structures in Polynesia. We also know that it is aligned to the cardinal points, the rising and setting of the sun. We know construction began around AD 1100 to 1300, and that there were at least 2 later periods of construction before the pyramid reached its final dimensions. We know that the pyramid was built with basalt, a stone that is commonly found all over the world. Roughly 60% of the stones on the surface of the earth are basalt. What we don't know about Pulimele is perhaps the most important piece of information needed to understand this iconic cultural heritage. Why was the megalithic structure built? What purpose did it serve? Samoans, like members of all indigenous societies around the world, did not create without purpose. This crucial piece of information seems to have been forgotten, so Pulimele joins many other megalithic structures around the world as a mystery, an enigma to modern man. This is why our evolutionary relationship with stones can be referred to as rich, complex, and enigmatic. But the story of large stone structures in the Samoa archipelago, of which there are many hundreds, is not the subject of this film. What we will be exploring in this film are smaller stones, functional stones, stones that we know serve a specific purpose as tools. This is not to say that there are no mysteries with these smaller functional stones. There are indeed many mysteries associated with stone tools. But what we do know from these implements is that the people who made and used them, like their ancestors who built the megalithic structures and other stone workers all over the world, were highly skilled. They had a profound knowledge of the natural environment that was both deep and empathetic. Like other peoples of the ancient past, Samoans over time built up a body of important and practical knowledge that would help them to achieve the one goal humans all over the world strove for, to improve quality of life. Among early settlers to the archipelago, the body of knowledge they built up was the result of an ever-present spirit of inquiry, a concept known to Samoans even today as songa songa. The creative impulses of the mind, born from the spirit of inquiry, make up what is referred to as intangible cultural heritage. Armed with such knowledge, Samoans were able to unlock the secrets embedded in stones, to create the tools they needed to build houses, boats that would sail vast expanses of the largest ocean in the world, and a wide range of functional and highly aesthetic crafts. The result? A rich, complex, and distinguished culture. A culture that also has its own share of enigma, replete with aspects that are in decline. This concept, the antithesis of songa songa, is known to Samoans as mo. I have been trying to discover the secrets of stone tools for over 20 years, and have made many hafted and unhafted stone adzes. But I use machines. Why? Because oceanic basalt is a difficult stone to shape by hand, a technique known as knapping. This technique uses a hammerstone to roughly shape the tool before it is ground on another stone, known in Samoan as foanga, to finish it and create a sharp edge. In order to learn more about stone tools, the Tiapapata Art Center put together a project titled Rock, Paper, Scissors that was granted assistance under the Asia, Caribbean, Pacific, European Union program, enhancing capacity for the sustainability of the cultural and creative industries in the Pacific. This project aims to revive cultural memory and know-how of particular cultural products, foremost of which are stone tools. With the assistance of Professor Mark Moore of the University of New England and the Museum of Stone Tools, a series of stone tool making workshops, field trips, seminars, and symposia were held in the archipelago from the 14th to the 24th of May 2024. This has greatly informed our understanding of the stone tools of Samoa. I invite you to join me in the adventures we shared to unravel some of the mysteries of the enigmatic stones of Samoa.
We've just crossed the international date line, so we've gone back one day, but we're about to go back about 1,000 years to visit a quarry where stone adzes were made. We're on the ridge line, the old trail, up to the quarry site. We found one of our first artifacts. We passed over a stacked wall in a flat area down on the ridge. We've come up a bit further. Right here, I could recognize this as an artifact right away because I could see this big flake scar on there. And what this is it's a gigantic flake, okay? So they had a boulder of stone and a massive hammerstone, and they struck the boulder right at that point and knocked off this piece, which archaeologists call a flake, and that's called the platform there. And so this is the sort of thing that we know from prior research that they were trying to make up here at the quarry, and then this is the blank that they would then further flake into the adze. Why they rejected this one, I don't know, but here it is. Hundreds, if not 1,000 years after it was first produced. Oh, we just had an epic climb up through the jungle along the old trail up to the quarry site. There's a flat spot with intense quarrying activity. You can tell from the debris that was there that they were breaking up big blocks of basalt and doing some of the initial fashioning of the flakes they struck off into adze blanks. So we kept coming up the slope till we reached this spot. And as you can see, back this way, what we're on is an artificially produced ridge on the spur of the ridge line. Now, archaeologists have done excavations both down in the quarry and up in this area, and have come up with some ideas of what this might be. And one of the suggestions is that this is a defensive structure. It's definitely artificial. This has been constructed, if you can believe it. People have dug all that soil up to create this big berm, and the suggestion is that this was a defensive position to stop enemies from coming up the ridge into the quarry proper. Apparently, archaeological survey has demonstrated that there's many more quarrying sites further beyond this possible defensive structure, and on the basis of that, certain people have argued that this is a defended quarry, that this quarry was so important to the people of Samoa that they went to this kind of effort to protect that vital resource, which we know was traded all over the Pacific. And if that's the case, it's one of the few, if not the only, example in the world of a defensive structure that was put in place to protect a stone tool resource. So this is a very, very important site, not only for the Pacific, but in international prehistory. I was just gently brushing back some of this forest debris, and every one of these pieces of stone that you can see underneath the leaves is flakes that came off in making stone adzes from the stone that they're finding here at the quarry site. And you can see this is just the stuff that's on the surface. They're stacked up, one on top of another, all these little flakes from creating the stone adzes from the blocks of basalt that outcrops here. Today we're actually going to do a little bit of stone flaking ourselves. This is what archaeologists call a reduction sequence chart. One of the really difficult problems that people that work with stone have to deal with is how to take these big boulders or chunks of rock that you find naturally in the environment and turn it into useful tools. Now, there's a couple strategies. We know this from archaeologists who've done previous research here on how people turn the stone from this place into adzes. And one of the ways they would do this, and we saw a lot of evidence for this yesterday up on the quarry site, is they would take one of these big blocks of basalt and they would knock off a really huge flake, like you can see in the reduction sequence here. So that creates this object, which we call a core. That's the piece that the flakes are knocked off of. But what the people were really after were these big flakes. And we all saw those yesterday. Some of them were bigger than the size of your hand. That then would be what they would make the adzes out of. So this is an artifact that's still here in the gravel bed of the river. I can see several others from where I stand here. It's a massive flake that's been struck from here from a boulder. Okay, so that's the sort of blank that people were after to make adzes from. We've got a stoneworking area that's eroding into this little side channel of the river. Down in here, just saw this in the gravel. That is a massive adze flank. You can see all the flaking along this side and onto this face as well. And this shows us that they were also making adze flanks out of river cobbles.
Welcome to Whangalele. This is where 800 grinding stones is situated. This is a major work area of grinding.